Now, Muslims started to come to India from 1000 Christian era onwards. Now, Hindutva claims that Muslims are oppressors who came to India, killed Hindus, massacred Hindus, and forcefully converted Hindus to Muslims. And that is why they claim that today India should become a Hindu state, a Hindu country. For historical records, I would like to bring to your notice, interestingly, one of the very popular dynasties that was present in India before the coming of the Mughals or any Muslim rulers. We are talking about 500 to 1000 years before Christian era, before the we have the Christian era counting, from 500 BC, 300 BC, 200 BC, all the way up to 500 Christian era, a span of 1000 years. We had in between Mauryan Empire, which ruled no less than 500 million square kilometers of India, which was India, Pakistan, a portion of Bangladesh, all the way up to Afghanistan. This was ruled by Mauryan Empire. Amongst the Mauryan Empire rulers, one of the famous ruler is Ashoka the Great. For your information, Ashoka the Great, who was a Hindu ruler, after the war that he fought in after one of the big wars that he had, Kalinga War. After that war, he embraced Buddhism. He converted to the religion of Buddhism, to the discipline of Buddhism. So he left Hinduism and he became a Buddhist. From that time onwards, Buddhism became the major religion of the Indian subcontinent. Up until late, when the Hindu rulers again started to take over portions of India. So the Mauryan Empire was ruled by Ashoka the Great, who was one of the biggest, who was the great ruler who ruled the biggest part of India, biggest united part of India, was a Buddhist follower. And he converted many Hindus to the religion of Buddhism through the national funds and through his army. Later on, when the Hindu rulers were still ruling different parts of India, and who came into power after that, from 200 Christian era up until 600 to 700 Christian era, Hindu rulers were ruling in very different parts of India, and they were not worshippers of King Ram or Lord Ram. They used to worship other gods. So this is in brief before what happened. The Muslim rulers came to India. When the Muslim rulers started to come to India from 1000 Christian era, from 1000 Christian era up until 1500 Christian era, Muslim rulers were ruling different parts of India, and they were successful in some places and they were not successful in other places. But a united India was formed in 1500 Christian era, around 1526, when King Akbar, he formed the united India at that time. And that from 1500 to 1707, the last Mughal, united India's Mughal ruler, who was Aurangzeb, between this time frame is when the Muslims ruled a large portion of India. Now, the Hindutva ideology is claiming that the Muslim rulers killed, massacred, and converted Hindus. For your information, from the time of Akbar up until the time of Aurangzeb, Hindus flourished in India to the extent that India was one of the richest countries of the world. I repeat, India was one of the richest countries of the world. 24.4% GDP of the world was held by India, the Mughal rulers of India. Interestingly, the Mughal rulers did not come, like Akbar to Aurangzeb, did not come from foreign country like Afghanistan. Their forefathers came from Afghanistan. They settled down in India. They married in India with Indian women. So the parents, the mothers of King Akbar and the later generations were all Indians. So they intermingled. They became Indian by blood and by their, what you can call, by their soil. They were Indians by all means. And they not only made India a great country, they even had, like the Akbar's general, his military general was a non-Muslim. The Aurangzeb's prime minister was a Hindu. Imagine, do you think that the Hindu military general and the Hindu prime minister of India in 1700s would be spreading massacres against Hindus? It's just impossible. To the extent there is available record memoir of Aurangzeb of dated 28th February 1659. 28th February 1659, written memoir of Aurangzeb, where he makes an order and he says, I have come to know that there are some people who are trying to create nuisance in the temples, who are attacking temples and who are trying to demolish temples. He says that anybody who is found to do this will be severely punished. Now, this is in the very sayings of the Indian Muslim rulers, and Hinduism is still remained a major religion within the Indian subcontinent till today. So any Hindutva ideologue who is claiming that the Muslim rulers murdered Hindus is not to be found as an evidence-based claim. Rather, it seems to be a claim to create disunity and to make abuse and accuse the other minority groups in order to create disunity within the society and to create discord amongst the Indians.